The heat in the south of France have seemed to have gotten the better of Ferrari, as they had a disaster of a Sunday at the French Grand Prix. After what seemed like the beginning of a comeback fight after 2 wins in a row, Ferrari have once again shot themselves in the foot in more ways than one, as they had to watch Max Verstappen take his 7th win in 12 races. It was a devastating day for Charles Leclerc, who looked poised for another victory after taking his 16th pole of his career, but a costly error saw his day end in the barriers. It was another race day full of errors and indecisiveness from the team that has highlighted not only the story of Ferrari's 2022 season, but a systemic problem in their culture dating back at least a decade. In a case of when it rains it pours, Ferrari's 2022 championship challenge continues to unravel just as we reach the summer break. But just how many mistakes have the drivers and the team made that is allowing Red Bull to run away with both titles? Well, look no further, as we'll break down the numbers in this video right after you hit that red subscribe button for our channel and enable notifications. Ferrari were already on the back foot heading into the Grand Prix, as Carlos Sainz started from the back of the grid thanks to his engine penalties. Despite good team execution to get Leclerc on pole, Ferrari's solid teamwork would end there, as their race on Sunday was a total disaster. With Leclerc fending off a quick Verstappen for the first 15 laps of the race, the Dutchman boxed for a fresh set of hards, as overtaking on the first stint wouldn't be possible. It looked good at this point for Leclerc and Ferrari as they survived the early Red Bull onslaught, and Carlos Sainz was also making good progress through the field. But then a shocking spin on lap 18 saw Leclerc go into the barriers, and his race was over before he knew it. The frustration and heartbreak was evident on the team radio, and was reminiscent of another Ferrari driver who crashed out of the lead as well. Following the race, Leclerc confirmed that the mistake was 100% his, and not a result of a throttle issue that also plagued him in Austria. Quote, "There's no point of performing at a very high level if then I do these mistakes," Leclerc said. "So at the end of the year, we will count back, and if there are 32 points missing, then I know it's coming from me, and I did not deserve to win the championship." Now, Ferrari team principal Mattia Binotto was quick post-race to put the throttle issue rumors to bed, as he said, quote, "There was no issue with the throttle itself, nothing to do with Austria. What happened is a genuine mistake of Charles, which I think may happen." We'll leave it up to you to decide what really happened, but in the end it doesn't change the result of the race. If that wasn't bad enough, Ferrari's day somehow got worse as they made life difficult for the other Ferrari of Carlos Sainz. During the safety car period, which was caused by his teammate, Sainz was hit with a 5-second penalty for an unsafe release after a slow stop from the team. In a comical radio exchange that Sainz surely wasn't fond of, the team even got the penalty wrong that Sainz himself had to correct them on while he was in the cockpit of the car. Despite the penalty, Sainz's pace was strong and a top 5 finish or more seemed possible. But the poor communication and indecisiveness of Ferrari shined once again, as the team had to go through the full alphabet of strategies to figure out what they wanted to do with the Spaniard. The embarrassing scenes culminated with the team asking Sainz to box while in the middle of a wheel-to-wheel fight with Sergio Perez. All in all, the Ferrari strategy with Sainz might have actually been the right call, as he finished P5, but the way in which they did it was not representative of what a championship team should look like. Remember back to the start of this year when Ferrari turned up with a world beater of a car that seemed unbeatable by their unreliable Red Bull rivals? Well, since Imola, there has been a long list of self-inflicted errors that see Ferrari in a serious points gap to Red Bull. So let's take a look at just how many errors have cost Ferrari points up until the French Grand Prix. We can go back to Australia, where Carlos Sainz crashed out on his own early in the race. Then at Imola, Charles Leclerc spun while pushing too hard to overtake Perez, while Carlos Sainz was taken out on lap 1 after a collision with Ricciardo. Then came the first DNF in Spain, as Leclerc's MGU-H and turbo failed while dominating the race out in front. Monaco was a low light for the local hero, as poor Ferrari strategy resulted in Leclerc going from P1 to P4. Then came the lowest of lows in Azerbaijan, as both cars failed to finish the race thanks to mechanical failures, seeing Red Bull take a 1-2 in the process. Because of the Baku failure, Leclerc had to start the Canadian Grand Prix from the back of the grid, only salvaging a P5 on Sunday. Although Carlos Sainz won his first ever Grand Prix at Silverstone, it wasn't without drama after having to override his team on strategy and take his victory in his own hands. And Austria was no picnic either, as Sainz's car burst into flames as he looked set for a podium, while a throttle issue complicated the end of Leclerc's eventual win. That brings us to current times at the French Grand Prix, as Leclerc's mistake and Ferrari's blunders have them in the spotlight once again for all the wrong reasons. As things stand, Charles Leclerc has a 63-point deficit to Max Verstappen in the Drivers' Championship, while Ferrari is 82 points adrift of Red Bull in the Constructors. It's a painful reality that is slowly setting in for the Tifosi that 2022 might not be the year after all. We've repeatedly stated that there is still plenty of time left to cut the gap down, and while that is still true, Ferrari continue to trip over themselves in a manner that is quite puzzling to even the most loyal of Ferrari fans. It's a team at the moment that doesn't look very confident in themselves, and it's quite a shame as the F175 is quite the quick Formula 1 car. Ferrari needs a dramatic turnaround, and it needs to happen quickly. The good news is that the next race is just a few days away, so they have a chance to right this wrong as we head into the break. The question is, with Red Bull and Verstappen firing on all cylinders, is it too little too late for Leclerc and Ferrari in 2022? We'd love to hear your thoughts on the topic, so please leave your comments in the section down below. And make sure to stay tuned to our YouTube and social channels at the end of this week, as the Backmarkers F1 show will be bringing you exclusive coverage straight from the Hungaroring for the 2022 Hungarian Grand Prix. All of our links can be found in the description box below. Thank you for watching today's video.